let's jump right into it. 3-year deal, 54 million with 26.5 guaranteed. Not a crazy deal. 18 million a year on average. Um, Bortles was scheduled to make 19 million this year, and it was guaranteed because of injury. So if he couldn't clear, physical by March 14th when the new league year starts, that 19 million would be fully guaranteed. So they kind of save, money by stretching this contract out a little bit. It takes his cap number down from 19 to 10 million, so it opens up $9 million in cap. So they basically, what I think the Jaguars did was they assumed they're probably going to have Bortles on their roster this year, regardless. So having him at a cheaper cost, allows them to re-sign some players, most notably Allen Robinson. I think he's a stud receiver. I think on the open market he would receive a pretty big deal. Even if it was a 1-year prove-it deal or a 2-year deal, I think you still get a lot of money. Players are coming back from ACL injuries a little bit easier nowadays compared to what it used to be. So saving that $9 million allows them to franchise tag him and keep Robinson in Jacksonville for at least another year to prove that he's healthy, and then they can sign him long-term if they want. So this deal, it makes a lot of sense. It gives Bortles, it's 26.5 million guaranteed, so it's about 7.5 million more than he would have gotten anyway if he were to just play out this year. The 3-year deal allows the Jaguars to be competitive while they still have their defense on rookie players on young players on rookie deals, however you say that. So their roster is relatively cheap for the amount of star power they have. And for the next 3 years, they can afford to keep those players on those deals before they really have to start shelling out a lot of money. And $18 million for a quarterback is really not that much, especially as quarterback contracts continue to keep increasing. So a few interesting things here. I think it doesn't necessarily prevent them from taking a quarterback. I think Schefter said it first. Bortles can play for a big extension on this contract with a talented team, or he can be the bridge to a new quarterback that they're looking to get. Could definitely go both ways. I really, really like this deal a lot, and the biggest reason I think that the Jaguars did this is because of the looming Kirk Cousins deal, and quarterback contracts in general. So, let's say we go through 2018 and Bortles has a top 15 type season for a quarterback. Generally speaking, if you have a quarterback that's playing that well, he showed highs and lows, he hasn't been consistent, so you'd probably want to place the franchise tag on him. We saw it with Kirk Cousins. I think it's something we'll see a little bit more of. Quarterbacks playing out a rookie deal and then just signing a franchise tag to keep them, maybe not the highest paid quarterback. I don't think that's a smart move, obviously because Kirk Cousins is leaving. But I think for Bortles, I think that situation would have made sense. I think it would have made sense to franchise tag him for a year and just say, hey, just be consistent. We'll give you the big deal afterwards. The issue with that is the franchise tag is the average of the top 5 quarterback salaries. So if we have been following along all offseason, we know that Kirk Cousins is about to get a massive deal. So along with Jimmy Garoppolo's $37 million against the cap this year, which is already $10 million more than the next highest paid quarterback, there's been reports that the Jets could offer Kirk a $60 million deal in year 1, which would make the franchise tag absurdly high. It'd be something like $34 million next year. Just for Bortles, which is just bananas. So I think the Jaguars made this deal to prevent the possibility of them needing to franchise him. And I think, maybe Bortles didn't see that as a possibility. Maybe he likes this deal because he wants to stay competitive or whatever, wants to stay in Jacksonville a little longer. But I think it's a really good deal for Jacksonville. I think they just avoided the franchise tag situation altogether. I really think the biggest hidden gem of this whole Kirk Cousins situation is that if the Jets do, or the Browns or whoever front loads that contract, the franchise tag for quarterbacks is going to be through the roof, and it'll be to the point where quarterbacks won't be able to be franchised because teams just can't afford that much space allocated to them. And I think that's something that, when Kirk's thinking about taking that fully guaranteed contract, possibly, I think the Players Association is also going to, say this as well. Like, hey, if you take this fully guaranteed deal, especially one that's front loaded, you could potentially prevent quarterbacks from being franchised in the future because, next year when Teddy Bridgewater is possibly a free agent, because I think he's going to be a restricted free agent this year. So let's say he hits free agency, 1 year later, or quarterbacks that could be on like a prove-it deal, like maybe a McCarron or something like that. Those quarterbacks that are on that fringe won't get the franchise tag anymore because it'll be too high. So there'll be more contracts that are, maybe a 3-year deal that's a little bit higher than what it would have been, but not, definitely not the franchise tag money. So I think there's a lot of ins and outs, and I think this deal for Bortles is probably something that the Jaguars are having some foresight for, and I'm a big fan of how they're doing this. Who knows? Maybe Bortles plays well and it's amazing and it doesn't matter. They don't have to franchise him anyway. Then they just get a steal. I think they do look at a quarterback at 29, someone who may need to sit for a year or two. I think Bortles' guaranteed money is mainly in year 2. At least that's sort of how I read the contract. Since $10 million is in year 1, and then he's getting 26.5 total. So it seems to reason that it's all in that second year. But yeah, no, there's a few interesting things about this contract, and I'm sure there's more that I'm not thinking of. So let me know down below. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I like to think I have a fresh take on some of these issues that pop up in the NFL, and I try to see just behind the curtain that is pulled in front of most fans. As always, go Jets.